All right. People, shut up. I'm talking. I watched another movie. This time I got a little spooky with it because, who doesn't like a little spook in late April? This time I watched Talk to Me. I'm a little behind the curve on this movie, but bear with me, okay? Talk to Me is produced by A24, which, once again, A24 just drops nothing but absolute bangers for the most part. If you're not familiar with A24, they are a production company that has, I'd say in the last 3 to 4 to 5 years, has been dropping some absolute heat when it comes to the movie world. Just a few to get your taste buds nice and wet. It Comes at Night, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ex Machina, one of my favorites, mid 90s that was directed by Jonah Hill, Uncut Gems, and those are just a handful of them. They have been absolutely killing it in the production film world, and this one is no different. So Talk to Me came out in 2022. It's a very interesting concept, but going forward, there will be spoilers ahead. So if you haven't seen it, you're like me and you're 2 years late, so just deal with it. So basically the movie starts out, there's this guy, he's out at this like house party. He's trying to find somebody named Duckett. He's looking for Duckett. He's asking people, have you seen Duckett? Have you seen Duckett? No, everybody's like, no, I don't, he might be in that room back there. So he goes and Duckett is in this room. You can hear him like kind of talking to himself. So the guy breaks the door down. He gets in there. He's helping Duckett out. And as they come through the kitchen on their way out, everybody has their phones out and is recording, which keep that up here because that's going to come back. So as they're going through the kitchen, Duckett is talking to himself. He's saying, he's looking at his brother. He's looking at his brother and saying, "You're not him.
You're not that guy.
You're not him." And then he says some other interesting things. As they're coming through and everybody's recording, the brother who's helping him starts yelling at these people like, "Stop recording. It's not cool, whatever." And he turns around and Duckett just shanks him. Just right there in front of everybody. No, doesn't care. He's like, whatever, cool. Everybody, of course, starts screaming and running, and that's how the movie starts. So we're off to a speedy start with this one. It picks up. There's like a big three friend group, and it's Mia, Jade, and Riley. Mia and Jade are like best friends, and Riley is Jade's younger brother. I think he's only like 14 or 15 or something. So basically the movie starts out, Jade was supposed to pick up Riley from something. I don't really know what exactly it was. He's kind of just chilling out there on the curb with his buddy. James, I think is his name. So Mia asks him if he needs a ride. He's like, yeah, sure, why not? So they jam out to some Sia on the way home. I'm going to swing from the chandelier, all that good stuff. And on the way home, they come across an injured kangaroo in the middle of the road, which I learned something watching. I learned a few things actually watching this movie about Australia. Apparently in Australia, if there's an injured kangaroo, like if you injure the kangaroo or not, it's like the law. You have to like call someone to come help the kangaroo. It's not like here in America where like somebody hits a deer, you just drag it off and hopefully keep it moving if your car still works. So they get to Jade's house where she's like pretty much just like shut up in her room on her phone. And she sees on Snapchat where there's like these little parties going on where these people are like, it looks like they're traveling to like some like nether realm in the videos. Their pupils and their eyes like get huge. It's like really creepy looking. Mia wants to go try this because they've heard of this like this hand that everybody's talking about that's all over people's Snapchats, it's on their whatever. They sneak out even though Jade's mom knows that she's sneaking out. It's not really much of a sneak, really. So they go to this other character's house named Haley. That is where the hand is. So they get there and they want to try this hand because they don't really know what it does. They just see how it affects people. So they are just kind of more interested in like trying it out, seeing what it's all about. So they get there and there's like I guess you can call them the friend group. What is it? Haley, Joss, maybe James. I don't know if he was there, but it's like that's pretty much like the main crew throughout this movie. So Mia's the first one of this little group to try the hand out. She's just, what is this? What does it do? So basically they explain to her, the hand is shaped like someone like shaking hands. It's extremely creative, which I'll get to at the end of the video. But basically, it's shaped like that. And what you do is you hold it, you grab it like you're shaking someone's hand, and you say, talk to me. And then when you say that, a dead person that only you can see appears in front of you. And they appear like however they died. If they drowned, they're going to look all bloated and gross. If they died in a car accident, they're going to be all beat up and bruised and bloody and all that. After you see this person, then you say, I let you in. And after you say that, that's when stuff starts getting real. All right. That gives the deceased person the permission to basically use your body as a vessel. You are now speaking as them. They are in your body, using your body, speaking, looking, doing whatever. There's two big rules with this game. So one is you cannot go for longer than 90 seconds. If you go for longer than 90 seconds, then the entity wins, they take over your body, and you're basically screwed. Number two is before you start, you light a candle, and then after you end it, after that 90 seconds, and you get the dead person out, you blow the candle out, and that's what basically shuts the portal to between the worlds, really. So Mia does this. She does this hand thing. She, at first, it seems strenuous. Like, it doesn't look like fun at all. But what happens is, apparently these people get, like, this rush out of it, and it's sort of like sort of like a high that you would get from a type of drug or something, I'm assuming, because she goes through somebody, a dead person, uses her body, talks to whoever. It gets really creepy for a minute, and then basically Joss, who's I guess like the security guard guy of the group, he's also the one that owns the hand. He rips the hand from her, and then she comes back. They blow out the candle, and then at first she sort of like collapses. She sits up and she says, "That was awesome. Like, that was incredible. What a rush." So it's sort of a strange thing. It's interesting, but strange. Later that night, Mia, Jade, and Riley all go back to Jade's house where it's storming. So I guess Mia can't drive home in the rain. I don't know, but she's there and she's staying the night, I suppose. Riley, the younger brother, tries to go in the room with Jade and just hang out, and she basically shuts him down, says, no, get out, just, whatever, go away. So he goes in there with Mia. Mia basically explains to him what it felt like what it felt like being under, which it is an Australian movie, so I can make the joke of like down under, no. But anyway, that's what I'll just call it. I'll call it someone being under the spell or whatever. And she basically tells him, she says it feels like she didn't even exist. Like she was never real. Like she was not. And then they sort of have like this talking moment where she explains that her mom overdosed on sleeping pills, and that's really her reasoning for wanting to try the hand, is so that she can sort of, have some sort of last communication with her mom, because it was her mom's overdose was very unexpected and nobody was ready for it. Later on, Mia and Jade go and meet up with Haley, who house, that's where they did the last little ritual, was at his or her house. Honestly, I'm not really sure how Haley identifies in the movie. Look it up. I don't really know. I'll just say Haley. Says that we can't do it at my house this time. So Jade says, okay, fine. Well, what about my house? Cool. That works. It's like a super easy fix. So back at the house, Jade's boyfriend, who is also, funny enough, Mia's ex-boyfriend, comes over, and Jade's mom immediately is onto them. She's like, you guys are doing something. There's a party happening, isn't there? There's a party? Where's the party? Who's the party? Why is there a party? She's just like all over it. Mom goes around and interrogates the younger brother and his friend, Mia and Jade, the boyfriend, whatever. They all assure her that there is no party going on. Jade's mom left, of course. Everybody goes into the basement where they're going to do this whole little ritual again. And first Daniel tries it. And he's possessed at first by someone definitely like creepy, like weird, like pervy. And it's just gross at first. Like whoever this person was, he starts doing stuff with his hand under the table, and then he falls down and he starts like thrusting on the floor. And then the dog comes over and just starts licking him in the mouth. And he's like full on like frenching the dog. Like, it's gross. That's followed, that whole thing is, because, now they're like, ew, what, and then now that whole thing is followed by basically like a montage of all the different people trying it. And you sort of get a feel for all of the different types of types of dead people that you could come across when you do this. It could be somebody that's happy. It could be somebody that's angry, somebody that wants to hump the floor and make out with a dog. It could be anything. And it's always random. You don't know who you're getting, what happened to them, none of that. There's just someone in front of you. So following this, Riley wants to try the hand, which Jade promptly says no. Because that's stupid. Riley and Jade sort of get into this argument. They have a whole like sibling fallout where like they talk about how much they hate each other and yada yada. So Jade leaves out of anger, I suppose, and because she doesn't want him to do it, obviously, because it's too dangerous. He's too easy of a target. So they get in this little argument. Jade leaves the room. He goes to Mia as sort of a secondary opinion, I guess. And he's like, well, okay. He's like, what if I only try it for like 50 seconds or 60 seconds? And then they negotiate on 50 seconds. So he goes over, he grabs the hand, and this is where it gets wild. Okay. Like this is like the first instance in the movie where you're like, oh my God, like what's going on? Holy Jesus, what is this? So because as I said, you can't hold it for longer than 90 seconds or else now you belong to the other people on the other side. So he's like, okay, I'll go for 60. Cool, whatever. So he goes under and it affects him stronger, I guess, in a way. He starts talking to Mia and it turns out that is her mom that he let in. She's saying, like, I'm so proud of you. I miss you so much, yada, yada. Mia sort of has a moment and the person who's in charge of the clock, which I believe is Haley, says, okay, we're at 60 seconds, like, cut it. And Mia says, no, wait, give me a second because, for selfish reasons. And Mia sort of has a moment with her mom on the other side through Riley. And Riley then changes into a not so nice dead person, that is. He starts slamming his face into the table, like pretty violently. I mean, there's blood. And then they stop him from doing that. And then his chair, because what they do also, little side note, is they get a belt and they strap you to the chair so that you can't really get up and walk around and like hurt people. So he is like belted to the chair. He shoots across the room, head hits a window, shatters the window, and to the side of him, there's like this little, I don't know what to call it. It was like a table type situation. I don't really know what to call it, but I mean, it's a corner. It's like an edge of it. And he just starts beating his face into the edge of this thing. And I mean, I think it was like 2 or 3 good times. I mean, there's blood everywhere. Like, it's bad. Jade comes in at this point and is like, holy Jesus, what is going on in here? And right as he rears back for that last time that honestly probably would have been a death blow, she sticks her hand on the edge. So his head just hits her hand and then he falls over and now it's over. Everybody rushes over. They obviously have to take him to the hospital because his face is beat up, dude. Like, I'm talking like bad. Like, dude, I don't even know what to compare it to, honestly. Dude's just all kinds of beat up. It's disgusting, honestly. They go to the hospital. Riley ends up in the hospital, and Mia shows up because she just wants to see how he is, and of course, she's shunned by Jade's mom, Jade, and they're basically like, get out, like, you have done enough. When she was at the hospital, she saw her mom in the reflection of a window and decided to follow her. She went into the bathroom where her mom was not, of course, because she's not really there. Mia breaks down and she runs into the stairwell. Daniel sees her and he follows her into the stairwell. She's obviously distraught. So Mia and Daniel, he says, okay, you're obviously distraught. I'll give you a ride home. It is what it is. So he gives her a ride home. They're kind of hanging out. He decides to sleep there for some reason. I don't know why. He is best friends. This is number one. This is his ex and this is his ex. He's also dating his now ex's best friend, and he just feels the need to stay at his ex's house. Whatever. That's not for me to judge. But he ends up sleeping there, and they're sleeping foot to face, because, like normal people do, I guess, if you're exes. When your ex comes over and stays, you know how that goes. So they're sleeping feet and face, and she starts having this sort of strange dream where in the dream she stands up and her and Daniel kiss, and it's this very romantic thing, I guess. She's startled awake from this dream, and she's sitting there and she sees this creepy ass woman sitting in the corner of the room. She, of course, is what's going on here? It crawls over. She gets up onto the other side of the bed, The thing comes over, the dead woman comes over and just starts sucking on Daniel's feet, like his whole foot. Like I'm not talking one piggy, two piggy, three. I'm talking like the whole, like she's got this dude's whole foot in her mouth. It's disgusting. Mia freaks out. Mia's like, oh my God, like wake up, wake up, wake up. And it cuts to Daniel and then it cuts back to her. And now it's Mia sucking on his whole foot instead of the ghost woman. So of course he's naturally freaked out because his whole entire foot almost was just inside her mouth as he woke up in the middle of the night. After this, it cuts back to the hospital where Riley is basically incapacitated. I mean, he can't walk, he can't talk, he can't do anything. So Jade and their mom are in the bathroom, like in the shower with him. He's sitting in like one of those little shower chair things, and they're just sort of like washing him with washcloths, whatever. He throws up right just to the side, and Jade's like, oh, are you okay? Like, is everything okay? Like, what's up? This is when Riley goes sicko mode for a second time now. First time, he nearly killed himself because he's not in control of what he's doing, obviously. This time, he does some crazy stuff, like like crazier than before, like creepier than before. Falls down, and he's on his side, and he just starts slamming his head, like the back of his head, into the tile wall. I mean, to the point where like he's like knocking tiles off of the wall. He's hitting his head so hard. He starts to bleed, and then you can tell that he's obviously possessed because he starts to laugh while he's doing this. There's blood just running like all on the shower floor. He then starts to lick it up. His own blood. He's licking it off of the floor in the shower at the hospital. It's disgusting. So the gang all meets back up because Mia brings it to the attention of the group that she has started seeing these people without the hand being involved, and that's a cause for concern. So they all meet up, and we figure out that Joss, the guy who originally owned the hand, or does own the hand, it was given to him by someone. He knew the guys from the beginning, Duckett and the other guy, and he said that he had done it at a couple of parties, and then somebody, whoever had it last, just was trying to get rid of it, and they said, do you want it? He said, sure, and so now he has it. So after this, Jade and Mia get in like this huge fight about how basically it's Mia's fault that anyone were even in the situation with Riley because she's the one that let him go for 2 minutes. Remember how I said 90 seconds? Try 2 minutes. Yeah, good luck, Riley. Mia says that she has an idea. She has an idea of a way that they can help get Riley back. So basically, she tells her, we're going to have to do it again, because she starts questioning everything, like, did we blow out the candle? Did we do this? Did we do that? And so she says, what if we just have him touch the hand and then basically light the candle, have him touch the hand, say, talk to me, and then see somebody and then blow the candle out. And that hopefully will fix this and he will not be dealing with these demons anymore. While they're sitting in there, Mia basically channels, how do I even explain it? Mia takes Riley's hand and she says the talk to me, whatever. When she says this, a little girl shows up at the foot of the hospital bed. The little girl says, I can take you to him. And Mia says, please, that sounds like a good idea. It shows basically under the surface what Riley is going through, which is it is, I think, the closest thing to hell you can even fathom. It is just horrid, disgusting stuff. Like, it is just, Mia sees this and she just starts freaking out, like whatever we can do to get him back, because what he's going through right now without us knowing is absolutely bonkers. So pretty much from this point in the movie, Mia starts to just spiral. Like, she loses all grasp on reality about like what's real and what's not. She starts seeing things. She starts having these like weird delusions, and it's pretty trippy. I'll say it's pretty trippy. Then what happens is, while Riley is at the hospital, Mia goes home. She's then again approached by her mom from the other side, or the nether realm, if you will. While she's talking to her mom in the mirror about the whole Riley situation, her dad comes and starts beating on the door. And her mom tells her, that's not your dad. They're pretending to be him, pull your heartstrings and get to you. So he's beating on the door, breaks in. He turns around and his face is all screwed up. And he goes at Mia, puts his hand, grabs her throat, and he starts trying to strangle her, on the floor. At the same time, it cuts to her actual dad sitting in the living room, looking through her book bag and finding the hand. So, of course, Mia starts screaming. Dad gets up to go in there. Her door shuts. So now real dad is beating on the door. He just hears her screaming in there. I mean, you saw it coming a mile away. But in Mia's brain, this demon guy is on top of her trying to kill her by strangling her. She grabs a pair of scissors, and wouldn't you know it, right when she jabs him in the throat, guess what happened? Real dad came in, was like, Mia, no, what are you doing? And then yoink, right in the neck. Could have saw that coming up. As soon as I saw the scissors, I knew what was about to happen. Anyway, so basically, Mia comes to the conclusion that the only thing they can really do to help Riley is to basically just put him out of his misery. She's just gonna have to kill him. And so she goes to the hospital and she's just gonna stab him. She takes the same scissors that she just killed her dad with, and she's just gonna stab him. Before she can do this, Jade's mom catches her and they sort of have like a heart-to-heart moment about the whole thing, and they sort of, make amends, whatever. So before she went to go and kill Riley, she had called Jade and said, hey, I know how we can help him, but you have to come to my house. So Jade's like, okay, fine, whatever. She goes to her house, but this was nothing but a distraction tool because Mia's sitting in the hospital parking lot waiting on her to leave. Jade leaves to go pick up Mia and to see what she wants to talk about how they can fix this whole situation. That's when Mia goes in and is about to kill her younger brother. After her and the mom have like this little heart-to-heart, whatever, she says, hey, can I have a minute alone with him? The mom says, sure. This is when Jade's sitting outside of Mia's house, and she's like honking the horn, thinking, okay, what are you doing? Like, where are you? And she goes inside. That's where she finds Mia's dad. He's still alive. I don't know why no one's trying to save him. He's still alive. Like, he's he's still breathing, and he's like grabbing his neck. Like, can somebody help him? Because Mia didn't. Neither did Jade, apparently. After she finds that, she calls her mom, and her mom's like, oh, I left him. Mia's here. I left him with Mia in the room. And she says, no, Mia's bad. Go back, save him. And basically now Mia is wheeling him down this hill towards a busy highway in a wheelchair, where to put him out of his misery, of all things that she could do, is just gonna wheel him into oncoming traffic, which is just crazy. So when they get to like right at the edge of the bottom of this hill, where, I mean, it's like hill, barrier, highway. And like it's just lanes and like a concrete median and then lanes. When she gets there, she's standing there. Her mom's entity is there with her, and she says, I can protect him, all this stuff. So Mia seems very touched by that. We see her let go of the wheelchair. And then it cuts to these two people just driving on the highway, and something hits their car, and then they wreck and they flip. And it turns out that Mia basically threw herself into traffic to basically sacrifice herself so Riley could live. And it's interesting because she gets up and she starts walking down the road, and she sees Jade, cradling Riley, like he's okay, but nobody like acknowledges her. And then she like teleports, and now she's in the hospital, and she sees her dad down the hall, and she's yelling, dad, and everything goes dark, and she's just screaming and freaked out and concerned, as one would be. And then this was the kind of cool part, I thought, at the end. It goes completely dark, and then the next scene is you hear a match, and you get like a side profile of Mia with just lit up by a match. Like, there's just a little bit of light around her. She looks over, she sees the match, she goes over to it. There's just a candle with a hand over it, like a human hand, not the creepy hand, but like a human hand. She reaches out and she touches it, and now she's somewhere in Greece. A handful of guys in there that are doing the same thing that they were doing in the beginning of the movie with like the whole little ritual thing. The guy is holding her hand, and he sees her, and then he asks the guy beside him in Greek, like, what do I say next? And then he tells him, and then he says it, and then the movie goes black, and that's the end. Final thoughts on this movie. So, interestingly enough, like I said, I was well behind the curve of this movie. I mean, 2 whole years, really. And when I saw the trailer originally for this movie, I did want to watch it. I thought it looked interesting. I thought it looked kind of wild. So I looked it up, and I couldn't find anywhere to see it without paying for it, because I didn't want to pay for it, because with my luck, I would have paid for it and it would have sucked. But again, A24, I don't know how they keep doing it. They just, that production company just knows how to knock it out of the park. It's also, I wanted to mention, this is an Australian film. Australian film. It's made by 2 Australian brothers, Michael and Danny Filippo. I don't know how to say it. Weird looking. But this is also their directorial debut for this movie, which is very impressive. Yeah. So This movie, I honestly, I will give this a strong 8 out of 10 every time. It was trippy. The way it's done, I mean, obviously it's filmed by A24, like I said, but there are so many, like, just good looking shots. Like, it's filmed so well. Like, it looks so good, to me at least. And the actors, like, I personally have never heard of any of the actors in this movie. Not once. I haven't seen them in anything. Everyone is good. Like, every single actor in this movie is good. There's not like one instance where you're like, I don't know about that guy. It's They're all good the whole time. Like, it's fairly impressive. And I actually did. I actually watched this movie 2 times. I watched it the first time without the subtitles on for the first part, and honestly, since it's Australian, at least for me and my little wimpy ears, it was kind of hard to understand them at times. So I felt like I sort of missed some like key points. So I went back and watched it again. And the second time it was with captions on the whole time. This time it was way freakier. Like, it's one of those that just kind of makes you think. It's not jump scare scary. It has like a couple in there that I guess you can consider jump scares, but it's not insidious, you know? I do know that they are going to be making a sequel, so there's going to be a Talk to Me. I don't know when that comes out. I don't know if there's even any real information about that yet, but I will gladly watch that one when it comes out after I've seen this one. That was Talk to Me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you didn't, I don't really care. So let me know down below what to watch. Maybe give me something a little scary. I'm kind of in that mode now. But yeah, tell me something to watch, something that's interesting, something that's gripping, something that'll really just tickle my fancy. All right, but yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time.